Welcome in. I am the Crypto Bull God, and this is All in the Charts. If you appreciate the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up button. Drop me a comment, as I see a few in the comment box there. And make sure you click the bell icon for all notifications to know when I go live each and every single weekday, except for sometimes holidays. I was not live yesterday. I hope everyone who celebrated had a nice, long, extended Labor Day weekend. The weekend went by way too quickly, in my opinion. But it was nice. It was nice on this end. Not too much terribly going on my end this past weekend, although that's quite a bit different from what I have going on this weekend. I feel like this week is jam-packed with a lot of stuff. Ra, welcome in. Kyle, good to see you. The DJ Netronic. 90% crypto, 10% Tesla. Oh, nice. Glad to have everyone in on the live stream. I hope you guys had a good weekend. We're going to go over a few charts as we always do, a few weekly closes as well that I want to get into that I haven't even quite honestly looked at yet. So we're going to look at some of these things together for the first time, and I'll just interpret for you what I see in the charts. Guys, make sure... as always, I'm putting some careful consideration and much thought into this video that's going live. This sinister September Bitcoin video is going to be dropping tonight at midnight. I still have to kind of touch that one up this evening after the live stream and after dinner. Need to touch that video up, but make sure you give that a view. It's my in-depth analysis in terms of where I think we're at within Bitcoin, because again, it's very important no matter what altcoins you do hold, you need to understand what's going on with Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is that driver of value, right? So if you really want to get my latest thoughts in terms of price action on Bitcoin as well as what I'm anticipating in the next handful of weeks to come, that is the video to drop. Real quick before J. Kim, hair is sick, brother. Rock on. Yeah, I got this crazy haircut, right? By the way, I might drop a poll. When things really do get crazy and there's a little bit more excitement in the markets, would you prefer that I color my hair green, or would you prefer like a golden, like a Super Saiyan gold, or would you prefer green, like a green Jesus candlestick? Because I am highly considering... believe it or not, coloring my hair when things really do get epically bullish. So maybe I'll put a poll out on that. DJ Netronic, thank you for your super chat. I plan on cashing out when BTC hits the Pi cycle top. Good idea or bad idea? Maybe we can take a look at that. I feel like I had a chart saved on the Pi cycle top. How about this? You drop me a super chat, so this is my commitment that I want to make towards to you for dropping that. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. If I can't readily pull something up today, I promise you I will prepare something for discussion for tomorrow. Okay, fair enough? So we'll take a look at it today. If I can't quickly kind of come up with it and have a conversation, I'll put some thought into it tomorrow morning, and then when I go live tomorrow, we'll have an in-depth conversation, because I really do appreciate... The super chats, the way I think of super chats now that I'm a content creator that can actually monetize my content, the way I think of super chats is it's like tipping. It's tipping to some degree. I don't want people to always feel obligated to throw out a tip, whether it's $1, $2, $3, $10, whatever the case is. But it's nice. It's nice to, just like a waiter or anyone else that gets a tip, it's nice. It's appreciated. So I definitely appreciate that. Caspa Green with K shaved in on the... Okay. All right. Well, how about this? If Caspa, maybe I'll throw something additionally out there. If Caspa hits $2 plus, which I think is actually very, very possible. If Caspa hits $2 plus, maybe I'll get a tattoo of the Caspa symbol on my left forearm here. For those who have been following me for a while, I spoke about Hedera hash graph, H-bar. If H-bar hit a certain price level, I forget what it was, I was going to get an H-bar tattoo. I was serious about it too. It never hit those price levels, but maybe I can do that. Real quick, before we get into the charts, something of a little bit more serious note here real quick before we get into things. A couple thoughts I wanted to share with you guys. today I heard some news that don't know anybody here who follows NFL football, but huge Philadelphia Eagles fan growing up, still a huge Eagles fan, as you can see here in the background. I bleed green. One of their prominent players, Hugh Douglas, his son, was tragically killed in a car accident. And I sent him a tweet, and I just, you don't know people like that personally, but when you hear something like that and you hear about someone's life taken at such a young age and so unexpectedly, I think most of us have gone through tragic events in our life, and I think the thing that stings with me the worst or the most is when a death has occurred that is completely unexpected. Makes me think of a lot of different things. And so what I wanted to share with you is just that, I really mean this. Tomorrow is never promised. It's not promised. I'm a planner by nature. That's the way I am. I'm very goal-oriented. I'm very much a planner. I'm always planning for tomorrow. I have a long-term vision. But you also need to balance that with enjoying today. And you also need to be careful the company you keep closest to. I tried having a conversation with someone a couple weeks ago, and she didn't want any part of it, unfortunately. But I really think you need to be careful the company that you keep, because if you have positive people around you, people that are they have good morals and values, and they're looking to do good in the world, and they're a go-getter, and they have goals and ambitions, you're going to somewhat embody that. It's going to inspire you. That's sort of going to manifest itself in your life. If you're around people that are going nowhere, they don't have morals or values, they don't talk highly about the opposite gender, they're only after the opposite gender for one thing, they're into money, they're negative, they're cynical, you're in many ways going to embody that. You are the company you keep. So just really challenge yourself to consider who you're keeping closest to, whose company you're keeping closest in your life. Time is precious, man. Time is precious, and you really want to make sure that you're making the most of it. And then real quick, last thing, for those of you who are not following me on Instagram, you're doing yourself a disservice. As promised, I put out a health-related, fitness-related challenge for the month of September, and the challenge has started today. So there are two things out there. If you follow me on Instagram, my most recent post, let me know. Drop me a comment if you're participating. I don't even know if some of you are following me, quite frankly. Sometimes I get a follow from someone on Instagram. I have absolutely no idea who it is. So it could be some people within the Twitter, YouTube universe here. But I put something out there. I'm challenging each and every one of you. When I say I'm going to do something, I stick to it 100%. So I'm sticking to it. If you want to ride alongside me for the month of September and take on that challenge, let me know. Let's see what comments we have here. DJ Natronic, I have not forgotten about you. Let's see. That's why I'm a fan of Tesla, full self-driving. Let's make traffic accidents almost non-existent. Yeah, man. It's crazy, man. Young kid. It just something. There are a lot of stuff I thought about when that was announced. Track, good to see you. Josh, let's fucking go. Ross, some long-time plans but we only have today. Tomorrow is a gift. It is. The older you get in life, guys, and I do know my YouTube audience, most of you are around my age. The demographic that tunes into this channel is around my age. And what you realize, the older you get in life, tomorrow's not promised, man. There is shit that comes up in your life. You could get diagnosed with something unexpectedly. You could have a partner or a close friend who has something real serious going on with their health. I'm not trying to be morbid here. These are the realities of life. And that's why, man, you got to make sure you're living this fulfilled life, which is subjective to you, right? You're going after the things you're passionate about, right? This channel, doing this YouTube channel and doing this crypto content, I don't care if the person on the outside looking in doesn't understand it. It's like, why do you spend so much time on this channel? Like, why do you do these things? I don't care, because it brings me happiness. I'm passionate about this space. I really love doing this content. I love going live every day. I like doing the videos. I don't like creating the thumbnails. I'm no stranger to sharing that. But I enjoy this stuff. It makes me feel fulfilled. So you're 46. We're not that far in age, my friend. We're not that far different in age, believe it or not. I take it as a compliment whenever anyone thinks that I'm around the age of 30 or 31 or 32, but that is not the case. All right, let's get into some price action on Bitcoin. Again, there's some more in-depth analysis in the video that's going to drop tonight at midnight. But I do want to get into some of this price action that's taking place on Bitcoin. So as you can see, one of the things, and we'll take a look at it on the daily as well, there is bullish divergence that is still present within this chart, okay? Even though this line, I mean, you can draw this so many different ways, but the general premise is you do have an upsloping line here. But again, and we've spoken to the importance of the 12-hour on Bitcoin, but even though we have bullish divergence here, for reasons that I lay out very clearly in my Bitcoin video, I'm still leaning in a certain direction in terms of which way I think volatility is going to go. And the reason that I'm leading that way is because of those higher time frame charts. There's just too many flags that are kind of being thrown up in the air right now. But this is a lower time frame, right? So even though we have bullish divergence here, and we could get some sort of bounce, the question you have to ask yourself is, will we see enough follow through to ultimately, like I look at this chart and there's really one line in the sand I look at. Guys, on the 12-hour chart, if you followed me for a while, you know the historical significance of this chart. I mean, we got to get back above the 200. We're all the way down here. And again, I can't emphasize this enough. The more we start doing this stuff, okay, the more we start doing this stuff, the more the 50 continues to cross down, and it's just going to extend out any potential all-time high, which I still believe an all-time high is going to come in by next year. Any all-time highs and blow-off tops that will still happen within timeframes that I've spoken to, it's going to be put in significant jeopardy if we just continue trending lower here, because this 50 is going to cross significantly below the 200. We need to start pushing up relatively soon. If you look at the daily here again, we got the bullish divergence, which is great, but I've spoken to the fact, and again, some people that aren't really listening, I believe I do a good job of communicating. I think that's one of the strongest skill sets I have. I believe I'm a very good communicator. Listen to the word choices I'm using. I am interpreting the data, right? I'm just telling you what the data says. Right? It's not my emotional opinion. Just that's what I'm doing. So in interpreting this chart, if we go back in time and we see the times that Bitcoin has had daily closes below the 200 simple moving average, it's very bearish, right? We need to get back above 27,600. Now, the other thing that's going to happen, and you're going to see all sorts of, I guarantee you, keep in mind, remember me saying this, you're going to see a lot of clickbait fear porn surrounding this, right? It doesn't look like we're going to avoid at the moment a death cross. Now, when would a death cross on the daily be concerning for me? Because when I look at this chart, what I see is a high probability at this point that we're going to have a death cross, right? So let me show you what would not be concerning to me. Now, the 200 is going to continue sort of slanting up here. Again, you don't need to pay someone fancy software. If you know enough about charting, you can guesstimate these things. Now, what wouldn't concern me is if we come down here and we sort of flatten out close to the 200, because then more than likely we're going to curl right back up, right? This would not concern me. This is the scenario that would concern me. So if the 50 crosses here and we sort of start to flatten, but then we continue curling down. This is the scenario. The blue line, okay, the blue 50, this is the scenario that would concern me. We don't want that deep cross, okay? We can have a fake out. We can get a death cross doesn't mean death for price, right? It's not bullish for price. It's certainly not a bullish indication. But it doesn't mean an immediate dump of price. And it doesn't necessarily mean any devastating price action. We could get a death cross in here and have a recovery in price right at the same time. Again, this is the scenario you want to watch for. Again, in interpreting the data, what I'm seeing right now on the daily is more than likely we're going to see a death cross. Do yourself a favor. Stay away from the clickbait fear porn. When you see someone with a thumbnail like this and they're saying death cross, just stay away from the video. That is my suggestion to you. They're not offering you any value if that's what the content they want to put out there. The most important thing for you to keep in mind is if we do get the death cross, which I'm anticipating, to not let the name scare you, but to keep in mind there's two scenarios, right? There's scenario one, which is bullish, which is we flatten out relatively soon after crossing and then we get the cross up. Scenario two is we get a steep decline and we just continue declining. And typically what would happen in that scenario is price would come up and it would just keep bouncing off the 50 and it wouldn't be able to get above it, right? That's the scenario we want to watch for. So that's what to keep an eye on the daily. We'll take a look at, Adam, I haven't seen you in a while, brother. Good to see you in here. Hopper reminds me of, the TV show, one of my favorite all-time TV shows from Netflix. The 80s. What the hell is this? Why can I not remember? With 7. Stranger Things. Hopper from Stranger Things. We can definitely take a look at that. Now, this is the main chart I want everyone to focus on. So it's not important, this is the weekly, it's not important that you understand the name of this candlestick, although this is not, I believe from a technical standpoint, this is not a gravestone doji because of the wick on the bottom. But this right here, anyone trying to convince you, okay, I'm just telling you, anyone trying to convince you that this candlestick is not bearish is being disingenuous. This is a very bearish candlestick, okay? You have a very long wick to the top. You have a thin red body and then a little bit of a wick down, right? We have a ton of buyer exhaustion at this level, right? We could not sustain price action. At one point this week, last week, we were above the 200, but we fell well below it and could never get back above it. Very bearish. Bearish candlestick. Bearish that we closed below the 200. What this is doing is it is significantly increasing the probability, no certainties in charting, but is significantly increasing the probability, for two reasons I'll explain, that we're going to see some sort of further downside. And how much potential further downside we could see, I kind of spell out in the video that will air later tonight, technically 12 midnight, whatever, tomorrow. And I'll share all my detailed thoughts there. But there's two reasons that we could see why the probabilities are significantly increasing, that we could see what I'm calling opportunity. I've not been shy about this. I have capital ready to deploy as of right now. I named 3 projects I'm looking at accumulating more of. They are Bitcoin, Caspa, and Casper. Okay? So I'm going to be setting up some buy limit orders for myself. Okay? But anyway, there's 2 reasons why this is signifying that more than likely we will see further downside. Number one, the most basic premise and trend technical analysis concerning moving averages and candle bodies is when you have a candle body close below a moving average, it's now going to act as resistance. Now, we've had 3 candle bodies now. We're in the middle of the 4th. 3 candle bodies below the 200 simple moving average, right? So because we're closing below the moving average, that in itself is increasing the likelihood that we're going to see further downside. That is number one. Number two, it's the shape of the candlestick. This candlestick, because there's so much buyer exhaustion in this area and we can't sustain price levels up there, what that is communicating to you, to us as market participants, is buyers are not willing to step in at these higher prices, and they are more than likely, not definitively, but more than likely waiting for lower prices before they step in and we see some volume kick in and then see a sharp rise in price, right? So buyers are not stepping in there, right? So those are the 2 reasons why I see more potential downside in Bitcoin. Now, someone was asking, DJ Netronic was asking a good question on the Pi cycle. Now, I know I had a Pi cycle. I know I had a Pi cycle set up at one point. Yeah, that did not pan out, right? So let's have a discussion about the Pi cycle top. Although I think we're going to do a two-part on this, DJ Neutronic. Let me comment on what we're looking at here. But there's also a different chart that I don't have set up at the moment that I at least want to have a conversation about. Damn it. This is not the chart that I want. There was another chart. Yeah, I don't want to lose you guys here. I don't want to like jump around and... I want the conversation to be productive. Let me see if I can quick pull something up here. Give me one moment. Bear with me. And if not, DJ Neutronic, like I said, I do promise you, if I can't have a value-added conversation on the spot, I want to put your super chat to work here. Maybe we can have a quick conversation about what we're looking at here, but I'd like to have more of an in-depth conversation because it's a great question. And the Pi cycle top is not something I've looked at. I haven't looked at it in a little bit. Let me see here. I have so many bookmarks. Is this it? By the way, guys, while I'm pulling up this chart to have a conversation about Pi cycle, would anyone here be willing to drop me a comment and let me know if they're participating in this health challenge that I dropped on Instagram? I really am curious if anybody is willing to participate in that. For some of you, maybe this won't be a challenge. I know for me it will. I know for me it will because in particular I'm a wine drinker. I love wine. I mean, hell, I love whiskey bourbon. Give me a dirty martini. I like tequila as well. So, yeah, it's going to be a challenge for me, but I think it will be well worth it. So this actually does look like it's the same thing. Okay. All right. So it really is the same thing. All right. So we're looking at the Pi cycle the Pi cycle chart. And I want to make sure that let me read this off to you guys. Let me make sure everybody's still here. Great. Pi cycle. All right, so you can go to, just for your own reference, okay, you can go to lookintobitcoin.com. You can also go to glassnode.com, and you can pull up like a Pi cycle chart. You can pull up all sorts of different charts. So let me read to you what's going on with the Pi cycle just so everyone can gain some level of appreciation for what's going on here. The Pi cycle top indicator forecasts the cycle top of Bitcoin's market cycles. It attempts to predict the point where Bitcoin price will peak before pulling back. It does this on major high time frames and has picked the absolute tops of Bitcoin's major price moves throughout most of its history. I thought the way to look at this is on the weekly and not the daily. I feel like that's the... Am I wrong there? No, I guess it is on the daily. Really? You look at this on the daily? For some reason, I thought you looked at this on the weekly, but I guess not. The Pi cycle top indicator has historically been effective in picking out the timing of market cycle highs to within 3 days. It uses the 111-day moving average and a newly created multiple of the 350-day moving average, and you can see those two moving averages right here, the 111, okay, and the 350. The 350 is going to be... Ooh, is that the blue line, I believe? Yeah, it would be the blue line for sure. And then the 111 would be the orange line. Okay. The multiple is of the price values of the 350-day and not the number of days. For the past 3 market cycles, when the 111-day moving average crosses up and crosses the 350-day moving average, we see that it coincides with the price of Bitcoin. Okay, that's right. I had to even refresh my memory in terms of how to interpret this chart. So let's take a look at the Pi cycle. Let's have a conversation about Pi cycle. And And DJ Neutronic, if I can think of anything else value added for tomorrow's discussion that kind of hits me after we're done here. Sometimes you have a conversation, right? You can appreciate this. Sometimes you have a conversation, you think of something after the fact, right? So let's have a conversation about this. If there's anything else I can think of, we'll talk about it during tomorrow's live stream because it's a great question. So if we go back to DJ's question, I plan on cashing out when Bitcoin hits the price cycle top. Now let's clarify here. It's not about Bitcoin, and this is why I have it drawn out this way. Let's kind of talk about what I have drawn out here. The key thing with the price cycle top is you have two moving averages. Okay, you got the blue line and the orange line. You can pull this up on TradingView. All right, and the blue line is the higher moving average. That's the 350 moving average, whereas the 111 is the lower moving average. Right. The key is. And it looks like I am timing out. My internet connection is timing out. So hopefully I'm back with you. The key is that not where the price is within those moving averages. The key is when does the 111, when does the orange line cross above the blue line, the 350, all right? So again, orange is 111, blue is 350. When does the orange cross above 350? Now, if we go back in time, and I was mistaken, you don't look at this on a weekly, you look at this on a daily, you can see here that when we, why do I have it cross there? Is it on the, why do I have it? I wonder why I have the cross there. That doesn't make any fucking sense because, oh, you know what? Maybe it was halvings. No, not halvings. Why the hell do I have these lines here? I'm confusing myself. Sorry, let's just have a conversation about what we're seeing in the charts. The key to the price cycle topping pattern is when, again, the orange crosses above the blue, right? Well, we can see that happened right here. Okay, so back in 2013, when the orange crossed above the blue, 4 days later, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a daily chart. We topped, right? Let's move forward in time. Now, obviously, think about this intuitively. I shouldn't have to spell this out, but let me say this. Not only is the orange going to cross above the blue, but obviously price action is well above the blue, right? In order for your lower time frame moving average to actually cross above the higher moving average, look like a weather forecaster, you need price action to be well above the blue line. So just keep that in mind, okay? So in this case, we're well above the blue line. You can see we're crossing above the blue. We're well above the blue. Let's see when we cross. In this case, we crossed right here. And that was literally basically when we topped. We topped technically back here a couple days, but basically it crossed as we topped. So far, within 4 days of topping, here we topped like a couple days before, right? We move forward in time. We go to here, 2017. Many of you were probably here for this. When did we get orange above blue? It looks like I accurately captured it here. And the top was a day later. So we got the cross here on Saturday, December 16th of 2017. Saturday, December 16th of 2017. The market topped 1 day later on Sunday. It topped over the weekend, which is kind of hysterical, right? So we topped within 1 day. Let's go fast forward. So far, we're 3 for 3. I mean, this is great. Now let's go to 2021. This was a little bit of an odd moment in Bitcoin's history because as much as I agree with the person who says $69,000 was obviously the top, it's not a cycle top for me, and you should know why that is. I believe in the Elliott wave count that has existed. You know, it's interesting. You could actually argue we've been, this will trigger people. You could argue we've been in a bull market since really, we bottomed here in December 18. We've really been in a bull market since December of 18, or you could even say February of 19. So one could argue after we bottomed here, okay, based on my Elliott wave count, once we started this price action, we actually have been in a bull market. And if I end up being correct, you'll understand what I mean by that after we go through a massive correction. So if I'm correct. But anyway, this, let's see when we got our cross here. So we got our pi cycle cross. It looks like I'm signifying here, which is not correct. Let's see. We're getting close. Like the orange is close to intersecting the blue here. Man. Right here. So we had the pi cycle cross right here on Monday, April 12th, 2021, and the cycle had topped 2 days later at 60. No, that's not right. Why does this say 65,000? We topped at 69. Maybe it's because this is the Bitstamp exchange. I guess we didn't top. Oh, no, wait. Hold on. No. Why does, Well, we topped at 69,000. I'm a little confused right now. Go to Coinbase's exchange. It's a little odd. Yeah, guys, just so you don't think I'm crazy, we topped at 69,000 back here. So am I living in a, oh, here we go. Here's 69,000. And I thought it was in November too. So, okay. I thought I was losing my mind there for a moment. Okay, it just looks weird on the chart. So technically, you know what's interesting about this? What's interesting about this time, this is an interesting one, and it further lends credence to the fact that this was an irregular correction within an Elliott wave structure for that ABC expanded flat correction that I've spoken to countless times. This, from an Elliott wave count perspective, was the top, okay? And we topped, okay, based on pi cycle, we topped 2 days later, okay? So again, this pi cycle top so far, 4 for 4, right? But technically, we did make a higher price in November of 2021. We went up to 69,000. So this pi cycle top didn't catch the all-time high, but it did catch the top of the wave structured movement for that wave 3. So I would consider this 4 for 4, DJ. So if we go to current times, you can see we are nowhere near where we'd need to be. I mean, price really needs to do a lot of work. You know, we need to do a lot of work to get this orange to cross above the blue, right? And for price action to go up. We got to do a lot of work, as you can see. But your specific question was, I plan on cashing out when Bitcoin hits the pi cycle top. This is my opinion on this. This pi cycle top has been 4 for 4, okay? I think it would be silly not to consider using this as one of a handful of things that you should use to consider when the market is topping. So to answer your question directly, I think it's a good idea to use this coupled with at least one or two other things. I personally wouldn't, even though this thing is 4 for 4, this thing is not going to be 10 for 10. Do you follow what I'm saying? So even though this has a high hit rate, that's another way to look at it. High hit rate, small sample size, right? Because we have a small sample size of blow-off tops, again, being a data guy, being that mathematician that I am, I don't think it's a smart idea, even though this is 4 for 4, to just solely rely on this. I think what you should do is say, wow, high hit rate, 4 for 4, small sample size, only 4 times. I'm going to use this as one of my I'm going to use this as one of my 3 or 5 indicators I'm looking at. And when those 3 or 5 are all flashing that we're, near an all-time high, that's when I know to let's start scaling out of this thing, right? Great question. Now, let me expand upon that. What I do plan to come out with, someone had asked me a question about this on an earlier live stream. Yes, I do plan to come out with a video designed to share with you guys the 3 to 5 things that I plan to look at to tell me the market is near a topping zone, and I'm going to start scaling out. I'm being as transparent with you as I can in terms of something giving me an indication that the market is near a top, and I'm going to start scaling out, okay? So I will share that with you. Price cycle might be in there. I don't know. I haven't sat down and figured out what my 3 to 5 are yet. I have a bunch of different things that I've looked at in terms of when the RSI levels, things on the weekly. Price cycle is obviously something that I've looked at plenty of times. Haven't looked at it recently. But great question. I hope you found that helpful. Consider that within the 3 to 5 things that you would use. But don't, again, never financial advice, but I wouldn't solely rely on it. Small sample size, guys, small sample size. You want to basically, at the end of the day, the way I look at this is you always want to keep things stupid simple. You don't want to overcomplicate in this case, we're talking about a sell strategy. If you overcomplicate your sell strategy, I think there's a higher likelihood that it's gonna crumble in on you and fall apart when you have 10 things you're looking at and you're like, oh no, wait, 6 of the 10 are this and 4 that no. Simplify it, have a plan, have 3, 5 at most things you're looking at, and when those 3 to 5 things are flashing at you, that things appear to be at an oversold point and we could be topping in the market, know what you're going to do ahead of time. Know how you're going to sell ahead of time. These are things that I'm going to continue to reiterate on this channel. You will only succeed in becoming prosperous from your financial investments if you have a plan in place today to know how you're going to sell. If your plan is, I'm just going to evaluate prices and I sort of know what I'm going to do, but when that time comes, I'm just going to sell out, you will not do well. Your emotions will take a hold of you, and they will tell you things that are unrealistic in nature, and you won't succeed. Remember me saying this, okay? Have a plan in place. You owe it to yourself. If you guys are still in this market today with all of the BS that has gone on, with all of that clickbait fear porn, everything that's going on, SBF having orgies over at FTX in the Bahamas, right? All this stuff with Celsius and Three Arrows Capital and all this stuff that has gone on. You guys owe it to yourself to have a plan in place, okay? See what other questions we have here. Ra coming in with a super chat as well. Thank you, my friend. What do you got going on? Adam has a question on H-bar. We're going to get to that. Ra, I appreciate the fact that you're so transparent and clear in terms of you don't need to explain yourself. But believe me, your note does mean a lot to me, that you do your best to catch the live streams. I love to hear that people tune in from all over the world. I've routinely commented on the channel. I think of DT as an example, who catches me, a lot of times first thing in the morning, he's having a cup of coffee. I think one of the neatest things about Twitter and YouTube is it allows us to connect with people all over the world. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So thank you for sharing that. So you'd like me to take a look at XDC and Casper? Absolutely, we can do that. Yes, I will be right and I will be wrong, because I've been right before and I've been wrong before. That's the way it works. You'll never follow a chartist that gets 100% of his calls correct. It's not the way it works. You want to follow somebody who is grounded in reality and logic, has education and experience, and does get some good calls. The other thing I would look for, and I implore you, I've always implored you guys to follow other technical analysts, and I've routinely spoken to people, good technical analysts out there. Another thing I think you guys should look for in a technical analyst, somebody who admits when they're incorrect, and somebody who's willing to change their view on things if the facts and the charts change. Look at the price action that's going on in Bitcoin. Did I expect that we would see this type of price action in Bitcoin in the past several weeks? No, I didn't expect that. I didn't expect this big red candle. But what I'm doing is I'm acknowledging, hey, I've been incorrect in the short term here. Let me reassess my view in the shorter to intermediate term of the charts. Okay, so I've acknowledged I was incorrect in my view in the short term, and now allow me to adapt and be flexible to the incoming data and read it unbiasedly and share what I see in the markets. That is what a good technical analyst does, and that is what someone who is humble and authentic does. So that's something else that you need to watch for in this space. Now, look what's going on with XDC, Ra. I'm going to get to XDC. I'm going to take a look at Casper, and then I'm also going to take a look at H-bar per Hopper. Love that name, Hopper. Looking at time, I don't know how much else we're going to get to, honestly, because I have a lot of stuff to get to after this. All right, so this was the golden zone I spoke to, right? I said, guys, this is a great buying opportunity. This is the gold zone I spoke to in my XDC video that I put out there. This is on the daily. We were in the falling wedge. Before the falling wedge broke out, okay, you can go back to my cheddar. My cheddar? It's good cheese. You guys ever have white cheddar and a nice dry red wine? It's very good. You can go back to my Twitter, X, whatever the heck you want to call it. And what I had commented is, we're in a falling wedge. I'm expecting some sort of a pop near this level. Maybe we wick above it. And then I'm expecting a fall in price all the way most likely to down here. Now, so far it's played out to a T. I mean, literally this thing has played out to a T so far. Now, we're still... Here's the thing. We're holding this area right now as support. And right now, as we've come down and corrected, one could argue, for the moment on XDC, we have a low, a high, and a higher low. Okay, well, maybe we come up and we form a higher high. That is a possibility. However, the reason I lean towards there being a little bit of a deeper correction here is twofold. One, my view on the shorter-term volatility that I'm expecting in the short to intermediate term, I've hit on plenty of times. Okay, in the broader market, if Bitcoin goes down 10 or 20%, your altcoins will go down at least 10 or 20%. Okay, so it's that coupled with the fact that once we entered this space, I thought to myself, we're sort of in no man's land because there's not a lot of price confluence in this area. Once we broke this level, which was at approximately 5.6 cents, for me, the likelihood, even though this pattern I felt would play out, the likelihood has significantly increased that even if the pattern did play out, like I had suggested, that we'd eventually come down and retest this area of price confluence. I'm still looking for 4.5 to 4.6 cents. Let's take a look at the indicators. Let me see if I'm seeing anything there. MACD's getting a slight cross down, nothing alarming. RSI, what do we got on the 3-day? Yeah, it's just there's too much confluence in that area. You can see the confluence. Once we're above it, we stay above it. Once we break below it, we have a hard time getting above, right? Confluence. I really think this 4.5, 4.6 area, and if we get enough volatility in the market, what you could see, okay, don't miss what I'm saying. We could get a drop in a wick. You could get a wick that comes all the way down to 4 cents. But I see us eventually settling with a candle body close at 4.5 to 4.6 cents. So if I was looking to accumulate more or establish a position in XDC, I personally would be patient. Okay? Anytime I'm communicating things, remember, it's just what I'm seeing in the charts here. Never financial advice, just what I see. But I would be very patient and wait more towards this 4.5 to 4.6 area. And if you wanted to be a little bit more risk averse, you could also put in some buy limit orders, even lower for a wick, down to the 4 cent area. Again, 4 cents is going to be there's always these psychological areas, right? Like $100,000, such a psychological level in Bitcoin, right? 4 cents is a psychological level. So you could put in a buy at, 4.05 cents or 4.03 cents, right? Always front run that psychological level. Don't put in a buy limit order at 4 flat cents, okay? Good chance it'll never get hit. Those psychological levels a lot of times don't get hit, all right? Now, let's take a look at Casper, and then we're going to take a look at Hedera H-bar for all my H-barbarians. Now, Casper is one that I am looking to increase my position size. And I'm actually looking to increase it by a material amount over what I currently hold today. So you can see, I think it's giving you this opportunity. My view of this chart right now is this is giving you this chart is very opportune right now in terms of just accumulating and sitting here. And I think it's giving you an opportunity to get in at levels that several months out from now are going to be a lot higher than where they're at now. Have we hit some of these price targets that I hit on in my Casper video? No, not yet. But then again, the market has not responded from a timing perspective exactly how I was anticipating. I figured we would be higher in prices by now. I thought Bitcoin would be above that. I think it's 35.5. I thought by this point Bitcoin would be above 35.5. So timing has been off for sure. But what's going on in the chart? Well, we have our downward resistance, right? We got the downward resistance here. We have this up-sloping line, which I love to see, of support right now. Now, if we get some downward volatility in price, and this is personally how I'm going to be setting my buy limit orders, I'm looking for wicks down, wicks down. So where could we see prices wick down to? Let's capture, if you're presented with volatility, you want to capture it. You want to identify sensible areas of price confluence that price could come down, gravitate towards, and then sharply recover from. All right? There's a lot of zones in here. There's this wick right here. We could double bottom there at, that would be a major area. 2.85? Yeah, 2.85 would be a definitive area I would be looking at. We could even go lower. Let me give you one more zone here, and then we're not going to get too crazy. Oh, this is on a weekly. Right about there, 2.67. We use nice round figures, right? We don't get too cute on this channel. This is 3 cents. I mean, again, 2.9966, it's 3 cents, right? So if we do get some of this sharp volatility that I'm anticipating on a weekly basis, I am anticipating this upward sloping line. I mean, you can draw this a couple different ways. You could even draw it like, I mean, you could draw it less aggressive, but I have more touches here. At the very least, I think prices will come back to this 3.1 cent area, okay? But we could go as low as 3 cents, 2.85, and 2.67. I personally am planning to have buy limit orders set right in this zone, anywhere between 3.14 and 2.67. But CVG, Caspa's all the way up at 3.5 cents. There's no way it could come all the way down to 2.67 cents. Guys, and I mean this with all due respect, it's very naive of you to expect that it's not possible. I've been here way too long. It is very naive for you to expect that prices don't have a strong possibility of wicking. I'm not talking about candle body closes on the weekly. Wicking all the way down to 2.6 cents and sharply recovering back up. You can capture that potential volatility by putting in those buy limit orders, saying, I want to purchase prices if they fall to that level, right? It doesn't need to stay down there. That's not what I'm anticipating. But when you get a flash crash or you get a sharp level of, especially with a lot of futures trading that now takes place and leverage in this market, all this futures trading and leverage, it creates even inherent more volatility within these markets. And where there's volatility, there's opportunity, right? Those are the areas I would watch for. And then the main area I would watch for to clear is the descending resistance. Once you start clearing descending resistance, I don't really need to draw many more levels of price confluence for you guys. We don't need to muddy up the charts. There's an area right here at about 0 points, looks like, yeah, I wish it was 64 cents. Portfolio would look even better. 6.4 cents, okay? So really, once we clear the descending resistance, it's all about clearing 6.4 and then 8 cents. That's what I see in the charts, Ra. I hope you found that helpful. Let's get the H bar. I'll quickly check the comments afterwards, but I don't think I'm going to have time for any more. I don't think I'm going to have any time for any more questions because I'm looking at what time it is and I still have to work on that Bitcoin video. And I need to eat dinner at some point. Hopper, what was your question? Can I see H-bar dropping lower? Absolutely. Again, I'm leaning. Here's the thing, guys. I am leaning towards their. I don't know if you got this from me or not, or if you just tuned in. By the way, if you just tuned in, thumbs up. I don't know if I'm being clear enough. I'm leaning towards there being some event this month that'll be news driven, where there's going to be a lot of volatility. And I think it's going to create a lot of opportunity if you do your due diligence and homework and identify sensible levels to buy at. That is where I'm leaning towards. So in the case of H-bar, I'm going to make it real easy for you, Hopper. Anywhere in here. This is my golden buy zone. Not to say we can't go lower, not to say we couldn't double bottom at 3.6 cents. That's even a possibility. This is my major buy zone, and my major buy zone has not changed. Okay? This buy zone is between 4.8 and 3.9 cents. If you can get more H-bar between 4.8 and 3.9 cents, that's a gift. And somebody asked me right before the live stream, I didn't have a chance to comment. Again, I named the projects that I'm looking to scale more into. Okay, we are back. Did we lose the live stream? Thank you for everyone who is still here. I'm seeing a lag in terms of the, and I lost like half the people in here. Sorry. You know what happened? I don't know what was going on with my internet connection, but you know what? Anyone who has NordVPN, which is what I have, I've been really pissed about NordVPN. It has fucked up, quite frankly, a lot of my connection. My internet connection slows me down. I don't know. Does anyone here have any success with the NordVPN? I'm seriously considering changing my VPN service because I paused it and that fixed my internet connection for some reason. Like ridiculous. Anyway, I was curious what other VPN services you guys use because it's really irritating me. So Hopper, the point I was at, I identified a buy zone. I want everyone to look at Hopper's comment because this is very important. All right, I don't want anyone to miss this. If I scroll to Hopper's comment, he said, I got a little capital and I have a buy order currently set at 4.51 cents. Because what he's smart enough to recognize is I'm not going to set a buy limit order at some psychological flat figure, right? $4.5 is the same as $45 or $450, which is the same as 4.5 cents. And actually, if I were in your shoes, and I think 4.51 is perfectly fine, but if I identified, for me personally, if I identified 4.5 as my main buy area, I wouldn't even set it at 4.5. I would set it at 4.53. Typically, I like to use threes. I don't like to use ones or twos. That's just me personally. So if I was looking at like $1, I'd put it at 103. If I was looking at, if I wanted to buy something at 5 cents, it would be 5.03 cents. So in this case, 4.51 cents is very sensible, smart move on your part. I'd make it 4.53 cents. But I think you're going to have an opportunity potentially to even buy lower than that. I think we're going to go lower in this range here. We could come down to, again, if you see a 20% correction in Bitcoin as an example, you're going to get at least a 20% correction, in my opinion, in H-bar. And a 20% correction in H-bar, again, I'm just throwing out 20% as a round figure, but a 20% correction would actually take you to right down here, right about at 3.9 cents. So even a 10% correction would take you more towards your area. 10% correction would put you more in the 4.4 cent area. So I think that's a sensible area, and I like how you have your buy limit order set up. All right, guys. I appreciate you sticking with me. Sorry for the connection issues. Again, appreciate the super chats. Never needed or requested, but always appreciated. Neffy, glad to see you join in. Make sure you catch the top of the live stream. We need Digibyte at $3. Well, Shane, if Digibyte ever hits 53 cents, by next year, then I wouldn't even need to sell any of my crypto. I would just sell my Digibyte, and I'd be pretty set. All right. So with that being said, guys, I will be back tomorrow. Make sure to check for the. Make sure you have all notifications. Make sure that you get notified when this video goes live. September really is, in my opinion, setting up to be a sinister month if you allow it to be. It also can present you with massive opportunity based on my view of the market. Okay, just my view of the market. So appreciate everyone tuning in. Appreciate everyone tuning in. If you haven't, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, drop me a comment, share the video with at least one person. Get it out on Discord, get it out on Twitter. Check out my Instagram profile to make sure that you also can participate in the fitness health related challenge that I have out there. I think it would benefit everyone. So until next time, everybody, let's all spread awareness and let's carry the education forward. Take care, everybody. Have a good evening, morning, afternoon, night, wherever it is in the world.